Drivetime Radio with New York Vinnie.
On this week's edition of Yo, Vinnie, what are you driving this week? What about the show?
Yo, Vinnie, what are you driving this week?
Have a little fun. It is a fun day here out at
You're listening to Drivetime Radio.
Remember, just plug in. I'm ready.
Yeah, remember, kids, I am ready, and I am ready for some Drive Time Radio this Saturday morning. Welcome. Is working. Everything seems. I forgot my hat. I don't know why the mic keeps muting, but we'll figure that out in a second. I'll have to do the show hatless. Topless. Anyway, good morning. Good Saturday morning to you. Beautiful day outside here in Seattle. Hope it is where you are too. Man, what a week it's been. Crazy week. Fun week in many ways. Crazy week for me. I get kind of, listen, I'm getting old. I forget things. So it took me a minute to realize that I didn't know that I did a show last week. I was really sick during the week. I actually had to get rushed to the emergency room and a whole bunch of stuff, which I'm not really going to go into. But just suffice it to say that I was too sick to do the show last week, I think. And I was too sick to do the show for a few days. I mean, I didn't do the show with Mikey either during the week. But I'm back. I'm here. We're hanging. And we got some fun stuff packed up for you, ready to go for this Saturday morning. It is Drive Time Radio. I want to remind you that we are brought to you by George Jackson, my good friend George Jackson, Business Specialties. If you need T-shirts, jackets, business specialties, keychains, calendars, all of the stuff that helps you run a business that you hand out to people to say, hey, this is my business. This is what I do. Please remember me. George handles it. George has it. George does it, and he does it in fine fashion. And that means on time, when he promises it, delivered to your doorstep or wherever you ask him to deliver it to, and in at a price that's, I would say, more than competitive with anybody else who does the same thing out there. So please, if you get a chance, GeorgeJacksonPromo.com is the way to get a hold of him. GJ Promo, go to him on Facebook, go to him on Instagram, go to him on the internet. Good guy. You like doing business with him. Solid dude. And I highly recommend him. Matter of fact, I got a couple of projects going on that he is working on for me right now. And listen, the guy is just solid. That's all there is to it. So if you need that kind of thing, if you run a business, if you're the kind of person that says, I need something like this, give him a holler. GJ Promo. You can find him on Facebook. We are on Facebook. We are on YouTube, on our YouTube channel. We're on X, and we are on Instagram this morning. If there's any other way you'd like to receive us, please let us know, as we love being here, or we, the crew of Drive Time, me and, a couple of my assistants, but we love being here. My daughter helps me out. My beautiful daughter is in Japan right now, taking pictures of some cool cars in Japan. So I expect in the coming weeks, we'll have at least some shots of some cool K cars and some other of the cars that are inhabiting the streets of Japan, which she says are pretty cool. I mean, it does my heart good that she has gotten into I mean, she's not into cars like I am, but she's getting good. She knows him. And, who knows? Maybe one day you'll be hearing her doing drive time reviews on the channel. I hope so. It would make me proud as a papa for her to do that. It's funny. I mean, I remember the day, the last time I had a Corvette, and she drove the Corvette. Took her to a parking lot, so there would be any problems. We took her, and she got in the Corvette. She drove it, and I was like a beaming father, man. I was like I was just so proud. And here's my beautiful daughter, who's ridden in all these cars all her life, and now she's driving along, driving this beautiful red Corvette that I'm testing for the week. And she gets to test it too. We did a little thing with her perspective on it, and it was really cool. It was really nice. So I was really stoked about that. Happy Easter to all of you that celebrate out there. Happy Passover. Happy religious holidays. Today, Holy Saturday. It's a very solemn time in the Catholic Church, if you're Catholic like I am. In the Christian denominations, it's a very solid time. It's that taint time between when Jesus was crucified and tomorrow when he rises from the dead. So, that's something that you're supposed to reflect and think and everything like that. So, happy reflections if you're thinking about that. And if you're Jewish, of course, Passover is going on. And I'm sure that there's probably something that I'm missing out there, some other religion or something that I'm missing. But if you celebrate something, God bless you. Okay. All right. As I said, we do have an action-packed show for you. I want to get to just a look at the gas prices, which are, again, not getting any easier, not getting any better. Not doing any better around the country. I mean, I'm looking at gas prices here, and Madon. I mean, the cheapest gas you're going to find in Washington. Let's see. If you're in Clarkston, Washington, okay, Clarkston, which is near Claxton, I guess. Out there, it's on the eastern side of the state. $4.09, registered at 15 hours ago at Costco. Let's see, something. Wapato seems to have a ton of cheap gas from $4.35 down to $4.28. I'm trying to see. Let's see. Airway Heights outside of Spokane, $4.55 a gallon. Those are the cheapest prices that are out there today, according to Gas Buddy, which is usually pretty reliable on this kind of stuff. Let's see what the gas highs and lows are. Actually, believe it or not, for the first time that I can remember seeing this stuff, prices are down 1.5 cents from yesterday. Yesterday's average was $4.10. But prices are up 11 cents from last week's average, and prices are up 84.8%, almost $1 from last month's average of $3.24. So it's definitely heading up. I don't know where we caught this little break today. I know that they're flooding the market. We continue to have the highest prices of gas in the country for regular gasoline. So it's crazy. What the prices are. You can see it as you drive down Aurora here. The Shell station on my corner, the 76 are both over $5, close to $7 for diesel. What did I say? That we would be at $7 by 4th of July. I think we're going to get there for regular gas I think we're going to get there actually before that. But so if you're planning a vacation this year, and we're going to hopefully in the next week or so get a chance to talk to our friends at RV Miles. I'm going to put in a request to talk to them and see how gas prices are affecting people that use RVs. They are RV centric. There's a lot of people that use these honking big RVs. Some of them are diesels, diesel pushers, and some of them aren't diesel. They're just gasoline, but everybody gets affected. Some of them get towed. Some of them drive on their own. Some of them self-contained vans. But I'm wondering if this is changing the dynamic of what people are thinking when they're going out for their vacations this year. You invested all this money in this van. You invested all this money in this opportunity to go out and get into the wilderness, in the woods, and so on and so forth. And now it seems that vacation could be out of your reach. So, and what the options are, if there are any options. So that's one thing that we're going to be tracking for you. We're going to be keeping our eye on it. I follow a number of different shipping channels and so on and so forth, so I can kind of keep up with what's happening in the Straits of Hormuz. And there are a couple of ships getting through, but as we saw during the week with the Iranians shooting down an American jet, who knows what's going to happen? You just don't know what is going to happen over there and what is going to be. We don't know what we're doing, or at least they're not telling us what we're doing. And be honest with you, I don't expect the president to go on his, TV and say, well, we're going to do this on this date and this time. That's a little stupid to expect that kind of information over the internet. I know we all feel like we're entitled to know everything, but the reality is that when you're doing stuff like this, you don't tell everything to everybody. You have to keep some of these plans in secret because lives are at stake. So, keep that in mind. Does that mean I think the president knows what he's doing when it comes to this stuff? No, not by any stretch of the imagination. I don't feel like anybody that's running this thing knows what they're doing. But that's, politics, and I don't like to get too close into politics for this show, but you do have to acknowledge that the 90-pound turtle is in the room, right? Anyway, this gasoline prices are causing something. And, listen, don't say your pal Vinnie didn't make you aware of this. You and I and everybody knows that I have been full on, not off of electric vehicles, that I have full on been telling you, don't jump off electric vehicles because, so many people have gotten away from electric vehicles and just, thrown them in the trash can, not the least of which are the people that make them. And if the people that make them don't have confidence in them, how can they expect you to have confidence in the electric vehicle? But I'm confident in the electric vehicle. I don't think the EV is dead yet by any means. The companies are cranking them out. We'll talk a little bit later in the show about the New York Auto Show and how many EV offerings and hybrid offerings are at the show and have been put out there by different manufacturers. So the EV is anything but dead. And the great thing about this right now, I think this is going to change. But the one thing I am confident in is that probably for the next week or 10 days, because these markets are volatile, you will still be able to go out there and buy a used EV at a pretty decent price because it hasn't caught up yet the demand hasn't caught up with what the market is going to be. So if you want to buy yourself a couple of year old Chevy Bolt, if you want to buy yourself a a couple of year old uh, Tesla or different electric vehicle that are out there, the Ionic 5, some of the really good solid electric vehicles that have good range. Um, they're out there, they're available, and they should be looked at. If you are looking for a car that is going to be a bargain, uh, one of the bargains that is still to be had. I mean, the prices of used cars are going up, the price of new cars are through the roof. Still bargains to be had, but you got to do your research. And from all of the sites that I follow and the people I talk to and the people I have on, there are opportunities out there if you're looking for a car to buy a decent car, whether it be gas or electric. And one thing that the New York Auto Show has shown us this year is that there are cars that are under $30,000 that can be bought. New cars under $30,000. If you want a new car and a warranty and all of that stuff, it's not going to be a luxury. It's not going to be a Lucid, and it's not going to be a Tesla, and it's not going to be a Cadillac. But you're going to get yourself a car that's going to get you back and forth from work. A car that you can afford, not a car that you aspire to. And, one of the things that we have come up with in this country is that when I was younger, you started with a cheap car and you moved your way up into a more expensive, a more luxurious model. That's what the idea behind, Chevrolet, Oldsmobile, Buick, Cadillac, Pontiac, Chevrolet Pontiac, Buick, Oldsmobile, and you work yourself up to a Cadillac. That was the ultimate vehicle, if you will. Well, once you get out of the hot rod phase, you got into the Chevys, you got into the Buicks and the Oldsmobiles. They were better than the Chevys and the Pontiacs. But nowadays, everybody wants to start with the Cadillac. Everybody wants all of these different high-end things in cars that, I mean, you probably should earn your way into as opposed to just like that. But I'm not going to give you a lesson. You know what you're doing. I don't know anything. I'm just the old guy on the radio with the ideas. Anyway, Tesla, their sales have gone up as gasoline goes up. And the interesting thing to me about that is Tesla sales has risen slightly, 358,023 vehicles from January through March. Last year, they were at 336,681. Couple of things in here. Number one, you don't have the tax credits anymore. Remember, you used to get $7,500 back from the purchase price, and that was gone in September. So it could be said that this is happening more on the cost of gasoline than one might think. The other thing is that we're still in that Elon Musk period. While many people have forgotten, listen, the pocketbook is going to overcut everything. Right? The pocketbook is what's going to matter. If Elon Musk makes a car that saves you a couple of $1,000s a year, I truly believe that you're not going to care about Doge and this and that and the other thing. You're going to go back to Tesla or another electric vehicle if there's a comparable electric vehicle out there. Prove me wrong. But just to think about it for a second, Hyundai, which is a great EV. They make great EVs. Hyundai and Kia probably make the best EVs out there. Hyundai said Wednesday that sales of their Ionic 5 are up 13% in March. Kia, their electric models, up 30% during the first quarter. Cadillac, a 20% increase in their electric models during the first 3 months of the year. As a matter of fact, Cadillac's overall sales fell 10%, but their electric cars went up 20%. Go figure. Affordability is on the minds of consumers, and I think we're getting away from that idea that the electric cars don't work. They work. They're much better if you can charge them at home, but the EVs work. And the range is such on the EVs that you can get, you go out and buy an EV with 300 miles of range pretty easy. And I don't know that a lot of you are driving over 300 miles a trip. I don't know that there's many of you that are getting in your cars and drive. But if you are, there are hybrids out there that also will give you that cushion that you need, that safety net that you need about, getting in the car and driving somewhere. I'm driving an EV this week, and I love it. I'll tell you which one in just a little bit. Hybrid vehicle sales are up also, Toyota and Honda, because they have gone the hybrid route, are seeing a lot of traffic in their showrooms as well. Now, the average price of a new car has risen above $50,000. Higher gas prices are making new cars difficult to afford, but there are a long list of cars, as you will hear from the New York Auto Show, that can be had for under $30,000. Again, are you going to get all the bells and whistles in the car? No. Are you going to get what you need to be safe in the car? Yes. So there are the affordability problem. Again, if you work on it, there are ways around it. Edmunds and Car Gurus, which are two of the great shopping sites, say more shoppers are researching electric vehicles since the beginning of the war with Iran on September 28th. 31% up on Car Gurus. Searches for hybrids, 15% up. Right now, people want affordability when it comes to cars. And also, a lot of the electric cars that were put out there during the Biden administration when the tax credits were going and they were really pushing electric cars are starting to come off lease now, because many people lease those cars, and those cars can be had for a pretty decent price. Go out there and do your research, and you'll find that there are cars out there, electric cars that can be had pretty good, pretty decent prices. Some of them I've seen for under $200 a month on a lease. Again, are you going to be driving a Tesla? Are you going to be no? Are you going to be driving a car that will get you back and forth to work and has a reasonable chance when you get in it every morning of starting up and going and not killing you with repairs and so on and so forth? Yes. That's one thing you'll get. You'll sacrifice some luxury. Your seats may not be leather, they might be cloth, but you know what? Your seats will get you to work every day, if that's the way you want to go. In Europe, hybrids and battery electric vehicles, 67% of the new car market. So it's definitely out there that these cars are, I don't know, making I don't want to say making a comeback, because they haven't gone away. But they are certainly, without a doubt, going to figure more in people's decisions on buying cars. I think, in my opinion, like everybody else, people got opinions. I follow the markets. I got a pretty good idea, I think, of what's going on. And I think that the idea that you have to be scared of an electric car is ridiculous. There are charging stations. Matter of fact, I read an article this week of people in Europe, a company in Europe that is testing now a system that will charge your electric car as you are driving along the road. Now, these have been around for a while, but this one seems to be more ready to come to market than other ones that have been. They've been testing them out in Arizona for a while, and hopefully this will make it different. Imagine that you didn't have to charge the car. Imagine if the electricity would come up through the yellow lines in the road or the white lines in the road, and all of a sudden, bada bing, your car is charged up. You're sucking power up from the grid through the bottom of your car. It's like magic, isn't it? But it is becoming reality. It is something that you are going to see maybe in my lifetime. I'm never 100% sure because I don't know how long I'm going to live. But, I kind of think that possibility is out there. So that's something to think about also, is that we have that idea, that possibility that we're very likely going to see at some point an ability to go from city to city in the electric car as it charges on the ground. Now, will I charge for that? What will be the mechanism? It's certainly going to be good for people who want to use their cars on the road, between cities, long distance, out west. It also is going to be great for truckers. If you don't think the trucking companies are looking at an alternative to diesel right now, you're out of your mind. I mean, diesel is, like I said, it's $7 a gallon. That $7 a gallon is going to be reflected in everything you buy, from eggs to underwear. You're gonna pay more for everything you're doing because everything moves by truck, right? So keep that stuff in mind. Okay, you heard it here first. Don't stab the electric car quite yet. All right? Don't kill the electric car quite yet. The electric car has quite a lot of living to do. All right, let's see. Let's punch something up here. I'm driving. Am I driving a really nice car this week? This is and we're going to have a bonus Yo Vinnie for you this week. We're going to have something special in the Yo Vinnie category, but I wanted to get this one up there because and get this going because this car is just I'm really I was really taken with the car I was driving last week, the Volkswagen Tiguan. And if you go to the website, not the website, but our social media channels, you'll see the Tiguan up there and our report about it. But this Lexus RZ 550 is new and improved, and I've been driving it since Thursday. And I'm really
Freak on Yo Vinnie. Don't
it.
count those EVs out just yet. Style, power, class, affordability.
Yo, Vinny, what are you driving this week?
All right, so now we are a couple things. All All right, let's try it again. There we go.
This week on Yo Vinnie, don't count those EVs out just yet. Style, power, class, affordability.
Yo, Vinny, what are you driving this week?
There we go. This week we are driving the Lexus RC 550E. The RC, listen, a lot of people call it the ugly duckling of Lexus. I don't think so at all. I think it's a solid, good, fun, advanced design that really kind of puts together an SUV, a coupe, and a car, all in one nice package. Certainly, styling on the thing is a little avant-garde, a little different, but in my eye, it works. I love the sharp lines. I love the swoop. I love the different lines that go through the car. I love the fender line that comes up to the belt line. I mean, I just think it's a really beautifully styled car from the outside. And on the inside, too. When we get into the car, you'll see the luxury that is this Lexus RZ. It's a fresh car. It's been it's in the middle of its cycle right now, and the RZ 500 F Sport is a new addition to the lineup. And if you know anything about Lexus, you know anything about F Sports, you know that you're going to get comfort, you're going to get reliability, you're going to get space to put stuff, you're going to get a really stylish, fun vehicle. Not outrageous to drive. I mean, it's not going to be a sports car, but it's going to be hold your interest as you're driving. You're going to have space for the people that you want to take along with you in this car. Seats up to 5 nicely, still has room in the back for what you want to stick back there. The RZ 550E F Sport, first F Sport to wear that performance band, 402 horsepower, has a battery that's 69 kilowatt hours, bigger than some of the other Lexus out there. Unfortunately, you only get about 225 miles of range with this thing. But there's a couple of few things, that I really dig. Number one, the way they have this thing set up, it feels like an 8-speed. It feels like an 8-speed. We have M mode. You switch it into M mode, and you get the feeling of transmission shifts, gear shifts. Now, I got to tell you that it's an electric vehicle. It's no transmission. That's motor to the wheels. But Lexus, the designers at Lexus have figured out that this vehicle and people will feel more
Just plug in. I'm ready.
confident in this vehicle if they have those shifts and they hear the stuff. So you can put it through 8 years in the direct drive EV. A few other changes there, beefed up the onboard AC. The charging port has now been changed to the passenger side. And this, I know it's crazy, but look at this inside. I was sitting in this vehicle last night in the dark, and this peacock kind of feather kind of thing. I don't know exactly what you call this design, but to me it looked like peacock feathers. And it really, it was so cool that the Lexus designers, and watch this thing. I'm a sucker for ambient lighting and interiors. I want the interior of the car to say something, to do something, make me feel comfortable. And this Lexus did the trick, pal. It really did. It really just gave you a feeling of in this vehicle. It just gave you a feeling that, that you were driving something special. So you have everything. You have comfort. You have the idea that this vehicle is a Lexus, so you get the reliability, you get the, I think affordability for a luxury vehicle. I think they're well priced. You get the Lexus reliability. You get a lot of abilities with this thing. You get the reliability. You get a vehicle that when you sit in it, you feel like you're not just sitting in anything. You're sitting in a Lexus. There's a feeling of luxury, of specialness in this car. And so, if you're in the market for this kind of car, and again, I'm just cruising it for the first couple of days. I'll take it on a nice long road trip over the weekend and get a chance to. I'm really kind of interested. I haven't engaged the sound synthesizer yet, but I'm really interested in engaging the gears. This thing, the M drive, and then the sound synthesizer to see if I get the feeling like I'm driving a race car. And then, driving up I-5, finding some guy who's showing his ass in his Corvette off and maybe just scooting by him a little bit. But you know what? It brings you there's something to be said for these this feeling of comfort that is given to you by the shifting of the gears and by the sound of the vehicle. And I know it's really weird, but it kind of makes you feel, I don't know, makes you feel a little bit better about driving an EV. Maybe that's part of it. Maybe, your mind has been so screwed up from certain groups of people telling you that EVs are no good that that you need some reprogramming. Well, Lexus will probably reprogram you quite well. All of the safety stuff is there that you expect. The attention monitors and everything like that. So we'll have a full review of it for you in a few weeks. But the RZ is really one of the most improved vehicles that I've driven in the last couple of months. And the one that the thing I really think is also interesting in this vehicle with the RZ is certain models. Lexus is going to make up that $7,500 that you lose from the federal tax credit. So you won't lose out on that. You're going to knock $7,500 off of it. That F Sport RZ 550E stickers at around $65,000. That's what you're going to be in that thing for with the normal options. If you opted out a little bit more, yeah, it's probably going to go up. But think of yourself as getting into this thing for about 65 grand with the all-wheel drive, with the 402 horsepower, with the bigger battery pack, the DC fast charge, and everything else that it brings with us. 60 mile per hour times of 3.9 seconds, 0 to 60, 11-second quarter mile times. And as I said, with the range, probably about a deuce and a quarter because of the high horsepower. But certainly a vehicle that should be considered if you are in the luxury market. I would run to the different Lexus dealers and go take a look at it. It's definitely worth checking out. All right. One of the cool things I got to do last week, I was driving a Tiguan. We spoke about the Tiguan, and we'll have a full report coming about the Volkswagen Tiguan. It's a vehicle that it's one of the best vehicles that out there that I've driven. I mean, I don't think Volkswagen gets enough credit for what they do. But if you are in the market for that small SUV, that Tiguan, man, everything it does well. But this was a car that was, boy, I didn't punch up the number on it, but I want to say that the Tiguan R Type R that I was driving was probably $40,000, somewhere in there. The SEL R-Line Turbo had the 2-liter turbocharged engine, the 268 horsepower with the 4-motion. But again, I think that you were talking about a vehicle that probably going to cost you 45,000. I think sticker price on it was 45,000 something plus destination. 47, I think, with destination. I don't have the number in front of me. And a lot of fun to drive, but all of the little things in this thing, the ambient light, the massaging seats. This car has the best massaging seats of any car I think that I've driven this year. And I'm going to tell you something, and I know you're going to laugh at me, but I'm going to tell you something, and you're going to laugh at me, but I'm going to tell you it's the truth. If America wants to solve its road rage problem, what America should do is require that every car have massaging seats. You may think I'm crazy. You might think that I'm nuts, but I took a long ride in that Tiguan with the massaging seats, and I felt better when I got out of the car. There was traffic. There was all of this. You hit that button. You get that roll going up your back, and you get your butt kind of kneaded a little bit. And listen, who isn't good in there for a good buttock rotation? And this car does it, and you're actually feeling better when you get out of the car. So if I have a vote, if you elect me president, I promise you that the first executive order I sign will require every car sold in the United States. And I will actually ask that they retrofit the cars that are out there on the road already with massaging seats, because it just makes a world of difference. There's so many things that I've seen in cars that are supposed to make you feel better. High-end stereo systems and high-end air conditioners and stuff that takes the ionosphere out of the car and all of that kind of stuff. I've even seen great sinks for the dashboard. But that the massaging seats do something to you, whether you're going around the corner or around the country. You get that, you sink into that seat and you push that button and the thing starts crawling up your back and your ass just feels good. And who in this world, who in this country these days cannot use a good feeling ass? Or a good ass feeling for that matter. One way or the other, you got to win, right? All right. Okay, let's well, I'm talking about good ass feeling. Let's take a quick break here. I got a chance to go up and ease my pain for a day. I was sick last week and I needed something to ease my pain. So this is what I did. And I think you'll like it. Favorite spot. This is Minnow Island, and it is Minnow Island State Park. And I just decided I was going to get into the Tiguan, and I was going to take it for a ride, turn the massaging seats on, and head up to the beach. Right? Who can't use a day at the beach? And so I'm driving along, and I get to the little beach they have there. And, it's not a swimming beach or anything like that, but the water is right there by the straits. The other side is close to the Whidbey Island. And you can relax, check out the water, and look at the beauty of nature close to sunset. What do I think? Well, look at this. There's whales in the water. So now I got massaging seats I got a sunset that's coming down, and I got whales. Look at that. Is that not beautiful? Is that not why you have a car? So you can get to the car and drive to places like this and see the spouts. I mean, I didn't need to see the porkies diving out of the water. The spouts were doing it for me. Just knowing that those whales were underwater, and as they passed the Saratoga Straits there, you know, the little piece that where Whidbey Island gets very close to Camano Island, just seeing those whales pass through, and by the number of spouts that you would see, you'd have to think that there were a bunch of them, right? Anyway, it was gorgeous. It was something that again, you know, one of the joys of having a car, one of the joys of what I get to do is that I get to jump in the car and drive up to places like this and just sit there and watch that. So can I recommend to you that if you get a chance this Easter Sunday or whatever you're celebrating or doing, throw the kids in the car, get a couple of sandwiches, maybe some s'mores, and head up to either Camano Island or one of the places where you can park, look at the water, watch the whales go by, or just their spouts. Again, it was calming, it was beautiful, and it really made my week, the rest of my week, a little bit better to be able to see this and to just watch those spouts and those whales passing by. Something very calming about it. Really unreal, and how beautiful it was just seeing that little puff come out of the water. Okay, so that was with the Tiguan. I really thought that was a great part of the week, and just something that you just loved. You just felt calmer. So massaging seats and watching whales in the Volkswagen Tiguan was something that I thought was excellent. All right, don't forget that we're brought to you by my good friend George Jackson Business, promotional items, gjpromo.com. If you need something for your business, you need promotional items, you need T-shirts, you need jackets, you need golf towels for your golf tournament this year, George will get them for you, and George will get them for you at a good price. It's like you got a friend in the tchotchke business. All right? George will take care of you. Just tell him I sent you. GJPromo.com. George Jackson Promotions is also how you can find him. GJ Promo on the social media channels. You'll find him. You'll see his stuff. And hopefully you'll enjoy what he has. He has, top quality stuff. And he's really good, as I said, about getting it to you and getting it to you on time when he says that it's going to be there. Very important when you have a golf tournament, when you have a business, when you have something like that going on. All right. Where is mine? I need some lubrication. So if you don't mind, I'm going to grab the lubricant here real quick. And just, I'm hooked on, now it's time for the Huckleberry cooler at Woods Coffee. So here I am, right? With my, Huckleberry cooler. By the way, have you been, sorry, I got ice cube in my mouth. Have you been keeping an eye on all of the moon stuff? I mean, how awesome is that? How absolutely incredible is all the stuff around the moon? Well, we've now sent Artemis up there, and just there's just such a feeling of pride. With all the things that we want to talk about this country and what we can't do and this and that and the other thing. Watching Artemis, and I have it on 24/7 in my house. Just because I'm a geek. I'm a space geek. I like, I'm not geeky like a lot of people are geeky, but I'm geeky in the fact that I want to know what's going on in space. I want to see what is happening. I'm concerned for the safety of the astronauts. I want to see this country win any kind of space race. It's one of those things that we can all feel good about, whether we're Democrat, whether we're Republican, whether we're for this, against that, whatever it is. We can feel good about sending people up into space, exploring, because we are explorers. That's how we got here, is that people in Europe, from the cradle of civilization in Africa and Asia, ventured out beyond their block and decided, let's jump on what then were considered the freeways of the world, and that's the oceans, and see what's on the other side. There's got to be something out there. It can't be flat. Don't start. It can't be flat. It has to be something. What's on the other side? So you got the Nina, the Pinta, the Santa Maria. Before that, you had the Vikings. Everybody, man, woman, humankind, wanted to see what was going on. So they got into the boats and they sailed. Well, this is the modern day extent. We know what's on Earth now. I mean, we can see everything on Earth. We know it's there. There's cameras everywhere. We know what's going on, but we don't know what's going on in space yet. We got an idea. We've set some ships up there, but there's nothing like the human eye. There's nothing like being able to look at that. And so we're sending this Artemis 2 with 4 astronauts in it to circle around the moon, to see what's on the other side, to see if it's made. I mean, 50 years ago we did this, more than 50 years ago. We did this, starting with Mercury and then Gemini and then Apollo. And I was geeked out about it then, and I'm geeked out about it now. But it was just this awesome idea that we could together. And, when the space race was going on the last time, the late 60s, this was a pretty messed up country then, too. I mean, people tend to forget that you had the Vietnam War, you had civil unrest with, race riots and just all sorts of stuff going on. And you had civil rights movements. And the country, we think it's bad now. I mean, it was crazy back then. And you had the police in Chicago and the Democrat, you had everything going on that was insanity. Not as insane as it is now in many ways, but it was insanity. So this is nothing new. And yet, through all the insanity, on July 20th, 1969, everybody stopped their insanity for a few minutes and sat in front of their TV sets and watched the Apollo land on the moon with the lunar excursion vehicle. And we achieved that President Kennedy's goal of putting a man on the moon by the end of the decade. We did it 6 months short of the end of the decade. And it was such a proud moment. It was such an achievement. I remember going down to the parade in New York City, down Broadway, down the Canyon of Heroes. And it was such an immensely beautiful feeling time for the United States and for all of us. And again, It didn't matter if you were for the war, against the war, for Nixon, against Nixon, whatever. You put it all aside for a few minutes, and you looked at this and you said, "We can. We're all one." Well, that's what you have now. So I thought that as a special little treat, I a few months ago got a chance when my sister was up here to go to the Museum of Flight. And what I saw when I got to the Museum of Flight was pretty groovy. And I thought that this would be the perfect time to do kind of a special edition of Yo Vinnie. So here you go, a special edition of Yo Vinnie.
Hey, on this edition of Yo Vinnie, what are you driving this week? This one's out of this world.
Yo, Vinny, what are you driving this week?
Yes, it is at the Museum of Flight. One of the coolest things you can see when you go down there. Lunar roving vehicle, LRV, that was built in collaboration with Boeing and General Motors. They hung this thing in the Apollo, which was 1970 during 1971-72, and got the name the Moon Buggy. And most of this thing, I believe, was built right here in Kent, and in Everett. It was kind of an extension of the concept of a lunar rover that had been first published in the early 50s by Werner von Braun, who was the father of the rocket and modern space travel. They decided that if they were going to go to the moon, and they were going to the moon, but in a direction, they were going to need a way to get around on it. So they put this thing together, started playing with it, and decided that this vehicle, this electric vehicle, would be how they would get around the moon. So in the later stages of Apollo, they folded this thing up, put it in a garage type of lunar excursion vehicle, something separated from the Apollo. They dropped it on the moon, they unfolded it, and they rode around the moon with this thing. And so there was 4 original positions. This is the model of it that is actually a scale model that is at the Museum of Flight. And what a job they have done with this vehicle. It is, just to stand there and look at it, and look at what they've done with it. Powered by 4 electric motors, tires that are mesh so it can grab onto the lunar surface, and so that you can, cruise around the moon. Now, they couldn't go too far from the spaceship because they wanted to make it so that they could get back to the lunar spaceship in case, the vehicle that was parked on the moon, in case something happened. They wanted to be able to get back to that, to that spaceship in case, let's say, the thing broke down. It's built by Boeing and General Motors. Who knew? Maybe there could be some problems. But let me run through this again because I just thought.
Hey, on this edition of Yo Vinnie, what are you driving this week? This one's out of this world.
Give me another look at this.
Yo, Vinny, what are you driving this week?
And again, this model that's got at the Museum of Flight is so real, so beautifully built. You have the 4 tires. The Apollo mission, really, this was the planning occasion was to drive around the first one, first from the, the Apollo 15 and the 17 miles, 16 miles, the biggest trip was 22.30 miles from Apollo 17, the last national range from the LM was 4.7 miles. Vehicles were controlled by a hand controller made out of zinc and aluminum. Front rear steering motors. Each DC steering motor was capable of 0.1 horsepower, 35 front rear wheels pivot in opposite directions. Or, as you'll see, they can fit this thing and control it. Had a tight turning radius of about 10 feet, and you could decouple the wheels. So if it got stuck, you'll roll it. Two unrechargeable batteries, so what you had there was what you had, and that's it. But kind of America's first electric vehicle, right? Or at least the first electric vehicle. They had a controller that controlled the steering and got you where you wanted to go. There was space on it to get off. Even had an accident with it. They bumped the fender and crushed the fender, and the astronauts were getting sprayed with moon dust. So they took a map and a couple of brackets and some tape and fixed it up so they wouldn't keep getting moon dust in their faces. So that's a look at the lunar rover, the LRV, that they could, get around the moon. It had a nav system, a directional gyroscope, and an odometer that would keep track of the overall direction of the vehicle. It was used on 3 separate missions, 9 lunar traverses. The commander always drove, while the lunar module pilot was a passenger who assisted with navigation. But what a great time for our country, and what a great time in our history where we could look at this and, and have this thing that we could be so proud of, not only of sending the astronauts to space and bringing them back, except for the one mission where it was a little shaky. We didn't know for a little while there. But the idea that we could not only get to the moon, but we could drive around on it. Those lunar rovers are still on the moon. All 3 of them are sitting there. They've been abandoned for 50 years now, 50 plus years. And I don't know if they'll be able to see them, the astronauts in Artemis, when they swing and slingshot around the moon. But I'm sure they have a map that shows them where they are. And it would be interesting to see if they had that kind of ability to see where those things are. I think it would really be cool when they go back to the moon and eventually land on the moon, if they were able to jump in that thing, start it up. I mean, talk about having a car that was I don't know. It's only been sitting for 15 years. For 15 years, it's got 14 miles on it. It's run by a little old moon man from Pasadena. What will it take for me to put you into this lunar roving vehicle? But really, very cool. And again, a great thing that you can go and see at the Museum of Flight down in Tukwila. This particular one is the engineering mock-up. This was the one that was intended to design and integrate subsystems. You can go down there and see it. A wonderful job by a couple of people, I'm sure, model makers that put this thing together, this whole display together. And to me, alone, this thing is worth the price of admission to go see and get close to this. So thank you for having that to the Museum of Flight. Hopefully, I mean, boy, I wish that they bring one of those things back and we could see if it still works. I would love to know if it still works. All right, let's do a quick look at the New York Auto Show. Just run through stuff quickly. Thanks to my good friend Tom Volk from Driven for some of the information here on vehicles that were worth looking at. The auto show is the auto show. The New York Auto Show is the king. I mean, it's just no doubt. And I wish I could have been there this year. I was planning on it, but I only would have wound up in the emergency room at Roosevelt Hospital if I would have went to New York this time. But anyway, the big star of the show, I guess, is the Hyundai Boulder. And the Hyundai Boulder is a Jeep Bronco type vehicle, a body on frame vehicle with Hyundai is coming out with to show that they are serious about off-roading. I mean, you have the Hyundais and they have the off-roading kind of, yeah, we beef it up, the suspension up a little bit, but this is a serious off-roader. Hopefully it's a concept vehicle, but hopefully we'll see it within a couple of years. Chevy had some great looks at the show. They had the new Grand Sport Corvette, plus they had a couple of concepts, the CXR GT and the CX, which are concept vehicles that won't go into production more than likely, but because I never say never, but also are a look at their design exercises. And they're worth going to look at, just again, like going to the moon. It's just a sign of what we are capable of doing. One of the vehicles that really interested me at the auto show is the Kia PV5 electric van. They had this thing set up there as a New York City taxi cab. And, it's kind of like one of those key cars, whatever you call them. It's a smaller vehicle, but for getting around the city, these things are spot on. And especially with the wheelchair access ramps, it gives people with disabilities, people that are mobility challenged, a chance to go to places like whale watching and stuff like that, where public transportation isn't going to take them. But they can get in this thing by themselves and go drive and get to where they want to go to enjoy the same things that you and I enjoy. Also, Kia hitting with a refreshed Seltos and their EV3. Kia and Hyundai just doing a bang-up job. As a matter of fact, Kia outsold Hyundai for the first time in their history. Genesis had some really cool stuff there, including a car that I have fallen in love with, the G90 Wingback. So I don't know if you remember the Buick Regal from a couple of years ago where they put out that station wagon looking Buick. I was in love with that car. I always look for one for sale because I'd really like to own one before I die. But they were showing that off. Also, their GV Graphite and their GV60 Magma, which is their performance mark, kind of like the Hyundai N. Well, Magma is the Genesis performance. And these things, if they're anything like the Hyundai N series, they are going to be badass vehicles to drive. Lots of electrics here, too, as well. Subaru with their Getaway EV, concept EV, and their Wilderness Hybrid. And Forester Wilderness Hybrid. And the Forester Hybrid, as I think we actually looked at that a couple of weeks ago. As I say, I'm not 100, but I'm going to draw it up again because I really enjoyed and thought that hybrid is, and that Forester is such a dynamite vehicle. And I just wanted to make sure that we got to to mention that. But the Forester Wilderness Hybrid, again, people are loving the hybrids right now. It's the latest hot thing, and people are, without a doubt, really interested in these cars. And so Subaru, and plus they had the dogs. Probably 100 people went home with dogs from Subaru at the New York Auto Show. So how can you beat that? Jeep had their Recon EV out and showing up. This is their electric vehicle with No doors. I mean, it has doors, but you can take the doors, you can take the windows out, and you can get into nature with that. And my friend Tom Volk made a point of this. He's so right. If you can get into nature, if you can go out into nature with an EV without the sound of an internal combustion engine rolling along, without the sounds of everything that's anti-nature out there, if you can get a chance to do that, what a gift it is to be able to roll along. And again, I go back to people that are mobility challenged, and there's a lot of us like that. Listen, there's going to be a lot of people in the for whatever reason have different diseases, different things like that, that can't walk long distances, that can't travel long distances, can't go over a trail. I mean, we're a country that's out of shape. Let's face it. And if those EVs give you an opportunity to get into the wilderness, if vehicles like the hybrid give you an opportunity to get into the wilderness and enjoy the sunshine and the wildlife and the things that are going on, get up to a lake where you might not be able to walk up to. If that does that for you, what a beautiful gift that is. And Subaru is a company that has made sure that they are able to do that. And I give them a lot of credit for it. Another big winner, I think, at the auto show was the Pacifica. The minivan is alive and it's well. The minivan is something that is falling out of favor a little bit. But I want to tell you that I think the minivan is something that that has a good place. I drove the Pacifica down in Southern California last year and loved it. And I did a review not too long ago on the Carnival, which is Kia's minivan, and loved both of them. Thought that both of them were excellent family haulers. Now, the Chrysler probably has it up a little bit more on the other one because it has the full flat floor. And that full flat floor really, it brings that ability to put large items back there, and brings that ability to really give you an opportunity to load it with stuff, to have a flat surface on the floor, or if you're camping, to have a place to sleep. A lot of people use these minivans, with the cost of hotels and things these days. Sometimes if they want to go a weekend, they get a campground, and you put 4 people in there where you fold those seats flat, and you can fit 3 people sleeping in there. 4 people if you really want to get close to them. I don't know if I know anybody I want to get that close to. But again, something worth looking at. So those were the highlights of the New York Auto Show. If you want to actually look at the stuff, go to Tom's website or on YouTube, his YouTube channel, which is Driven with Tom Volk, Volk. You can't miss him, and he'll pimp you to start his to join his 200,000 followers. I don't have 200,000 followers, but I wish you would follow me on my YouTube channel as well. All right, let's close it out with I want to punch up that Subaru Forester Wilderness Edition one more time before we get out of here. So let's pump that up and give you a little look at that vehicle.
Hey, it's another edition of Yo, Vinnie, what are you driving this week? This week, we get into the wilderness.
All right, this is the Forester Wilderness Edition, and again, the one of the stars of the New York Auto Show is the hybrid, but this was the Wilderness Edition that we showed you a couple of weeks ago. I just want to go back to it to show it to you one more time. Well, because I love Subaru. Number one, I love everything that they do and everything they're doing. They are one of the best car companies, not only from a perspective of building great cars, but from the perspective of their the way they treat their customers, the way they participate in the community. They really bring it. Ask anybody who owns a Subaru. There's a special feeling about driving a Subaru. These Foresters have changed over the years, but yet have remained kind of true to what they are. And this one gives you a little extra oomph for going lightly, and I'm stressing the lightly off the road. Okay, I'm not saying that you should take this thing up into the hinterlands or the wilderness or the deep wilderness, but for light wilderness, for a trip up through a forest road or something like that, it's for the name Forester, and I think it really brings a lot to the table that you expect from the Forester. It gives you an opportunity to take a look and to have all of that same stuff that you would expect in a tougher, more off-road ready vehicle. And again, I think it's a vehicle that deserves to be looked at if you are looking for a combination of street vehicle, something that you can take the kids to school with, and also take them off on the weekend. Head up to Picture Tent. They also sell a kit for the top of it that you can put a tent on and a platform and sleep up there. It has the eyesight system that Subaru has one of the best driving systems, excuse me, driver assistance systems in the business. All-wheel drive, which they are famous for, the Boxer engine, which they are famous for, and in the new one, the hybrid, uh, which they are famous for as well. Not as famous yet for the hybrid, but they developed this system which everybody is raving about. It's all-wheel drive, and it gives you the opportunity to have your Subaru and get off-road too. Again, plenty of space for stuff that you want to stick it in. I think a solid vehicle is both the gas engined hybrid, the gas engined Forester, and the hybrid Forester as well. And again, one of the reviews that I saw, plenty of road adjacent capability, and that's exactly what this has. And what Subaru has done, which I really like, much as in the Lexus, the textures of the interior in this car are beautiful. I mean, it's not just that they slapped this thing together and said, let's just, put some, cover it with some material. They took some time and then some thought into the interior of these cars, the part of these cars where you live, right? We all live in the interiors of our cars, and we all get a chance to look at this, feel better about it. I think the cost of this thing is, I'm trying to see now. I don't have the Monroney in front of me, but I believe in nothing better than our love. I believe that we were looking at about 30, 42, 45,000. Same price probably as or close to as the Tiguan. Maybe a little bit more off-road ready than the R-Type Tiguan. But yet, same idea, although the massaging seats in the Tiguan have got me, man. If it comes down to A and B, I'm going with the massaging seats. I want to get my buttocks rotated when I buy a car next time. If I'm a younger person, the massaging seats maybe, but I'm telling you, those massaging seats are going to make America a better place. All right, keep that thought in your mind. At 11 o'clock, when we get together for another edition of Drive Time. Thank you so much for listening and watching. I know you listen on air, you watch on air. I hope we taught you a little something this week, as well as gave you some, something to laugh at, something to look at, something to appreciate. Well, one other thing that I just wanted to, before I got out of here, I almost forgot, and I wanted to, our friends at Cars and Coffee, my buddies down there get together on Saturday morning, doing their Cars and Coffee. And there is a new Cars and Coffee that is starting in Edmonds. And that is happening, I think, starting tomorrow. In downtown Edmonds, Cars and Coffee Edmonds. I'm just calling it up here real quick. I had it. They don't have the, let's see, Evergreen Edmonds Cars and Coffee. Let's take a look here real quick. Let's see. Well, you know what? It's interesting. They made the group private and I can't get in. So it's supposed to be happening tomorrow. I have a pending membership. One thing about a Facebook group, if you're going to have a Facebook group, and this has happened to me a few times now in the last few weeks. If you're going to have a Facebook group and it's a thing like this that you want to attract people to, either have your administrators keep an eye on it so you can let people into it so you can spread the word, or don't waste my time. Okay? Again, you put it on Facebook. It's great. People want to go. I want to give you the publicity, but you got to keep on top of it. So, I don't know what Salish Crossing, which is at 190 Sunset Avenue in Edmonds. It's the parking lot across from the ferry by Top Hot Donuts. And I guess they're going to start there Sundays for 2 hours, April through September. So I guess their first one is tomorrow. If you have a chance and you're not doing nothing, go support them and help them out. And I don't say that to be mean about the moderators and stuff like that, but I've just seen it enough now with people that have and listen, I'm guilty of it myself. I'm not, I've started a Facebook group and then not paid attention to it. But if you're going to want to draw people to an event, you got to pay attention to the Facebook group if you're going to put it on there. Because people are going to go, like me. They're going to go. They're going to see they're not in. Boom. And I had it happen to me with a Springsteen thing. They just notified me that they approved me this morning. But I was in tried to get into the Springsteen group and tried to get in 2, 3, 4 weeks. I can't get in. And then, somebody called me and said, hey, there's a ticket for Bruce in Portland. Called me yesterday. I tried to get into the group to see about the ticket, to see if I can get it. And I can't get in. They haven't approved me yet. Well, you know what? Now I don't care if I get in. Yeah, I guess I do care. Anyway, just if you're running a Facebook group and you're having events, make sure that you pay attention to the people that want to join your group and let them into your group. Okay? Simple stuff. All right. Next week, 11 o'clock, we'll have more Drive Time Radio for you. Thank you so much for paying attention. Have a very happy Easter, very blessed Easter. And I just want to, we lost one of our listeners last week, a guy from Pittsburgh who was just an aces guy. I met him when I was back in Pittsburgh, and he started following me when I was on the air at KDKA there. And we remained, when I came back here, we remained friends. He was a good guy. The guy loved the song Play That Funky Music, White Boy by Wild Cherry. He thought that that was the greatest rock and roll song that was ever done. And you know what? I didn't have the nads to disagree with him. So today, Play That Funky Music, White Boy is the greatest rock and roll song I ever heard. Danny Brown, rest in peace, brother. Thank you for the good times and the conversations and being a friend of mine on Facebook. It was a great ride, and see you in the next life, pal. As Charles Grodin and Robert De Niro so wonderfully said to each other at the end of that movie. I'll see you Monday with Mikey if the Lord's willing and the creek don't rise. I'm getting nuts now. Bye-bye now. Thank you for listening. I appreciate it.